In this video, we're going to talk about how to use the fingers in playing the piano. Right? This is something that there are different schools of thought on, and I'm teaching you what I believe is the most efficient. Okay, so let's talk about the hands first of all. The hands and the fingers evolved to hold things, to grab things. Okay, so the primary use of our fingers is to kind of do this kind of closing motion here. Okay. Now, when we look at the keyboard, it's very easy to think, well, I have this keyboard and it seems like we should push the keys down. It looks like, hey, let's push the key down because it looks like a vertical action, all right? But the reality is our hands are not designed to move in linear directions. They're designed to move kind of in circular directions. So you see here? Now the beauty is, just by closing the finger like this, it will actually play the key. So first of all, just get used to holding your hand in the air and just closing your fingers all together like this, just to feel that sensation, just like this. That's it. Notice how we're curving and bending all of the joints, including the first knuckle closest to the tip of our fingers. That's very important, to be bending that joint when you play and close your fingers. Now watch what happens. Now try it with just one finger and just a small motion. You don't have to close very far. And now I'm going to show you what that looks like here. It's going to be exactly the same. So I'm going to close my finger in the air, and now I'm touching the key. And it still plays. Try that with me, with your second finger, your right hand. Very good. And now we go to our third finger, and it's exactly the same thing. I'll show you from under the hand. I'm still slightly closing my finger. Okay, now it's important to note that when I'm closing my finger, here I'm activating my finger only goes to the point at which the tip of the finger is perpendicular to the keys. It does not go beyond that point. So I'm not closing to this point. It's literally a very small motion like this. Very small. Okay? So now I'm going to show you a very powerful exercise. I'll show you what it looks like in music first, and then we'll try this. So we're just going to play this pattern here. Three C's followed by a rest. Okay? And you'll be using our thumbs for this. So it's going to look like this. Let me show you what this looks like played. So I'm going to put my thumb on middle C. And now watch my thumb. My thumb is going to still close the same direction, like this. Notice the thumb is actually moving in towards the hand. Okay? It's very, very important. Take a look here. So here's my thumb. And I'm actually bending at my first joint to play. Okay? So now, many pianists do use their thumb differently. Now, couple key points to do this properly. One, notice the angle of my thumb. My thumb is not parallel to the keys. It's not flat. Instead, my thumb has an angle to it. I raise the level of my hand by elevating the wrist a little bit, and now I can do this. So get used to that. Okay? Now what we're going to do is we're going to play it 3 times plus the rest, very short like this. And we're going to say C, 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 rest. C, C, C. Try with me. C, 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 rest. C, 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 rest. So we do it twice. Now we're going to go to the second finger and do exactly the same thing. So let's try this here. D, 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 rest, D, 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 rest. Now, a couple other notes to pay attention to. Notice how my fingers my tips of my fingers are always in contact with the keys. I'm not raising my keys into the air. Okay? I'm resting all of my fingertips on the surface of the key, and I'm keeping them resting there at all times. Okay? We want to make as much efficient use as we can of the fingers. Now we go to the third finger on E. E, E, E. Rest. E, E, E. Try with me. E, E, E. Rest. E, E, E. Rest. Now we go to fourth finger on F. F, F, F. Rest. F, F, F. Rest. Now we go to fifth finger on G. G, G, G. Rest. G, G, G. Now we go back to fourth finger on F. F, F, F. Rest. F, F, F. Back to third finger on E. E, E, E. Rest. E, E, E. Back to second finger on D. D, D, D. Rest. D, D, D. And back to the thumb on C. C, C, C. Rest. C, C, C. And now we're going to do the same exercise with the left hand. So the left hand, I'm going to place my fifth finger, that's my pinky, okay, on the note bass C. So my fifth finger is on bass C. And then my fourth finger is on D, third finger is on E, second finger is on F, thumb is on G. So they're resting on adjacent white keys. This is what we call C position. And now, again, notice how my fingertips are resting on the surface of the keys. Notice how my wrist is level and such that my thumb has a slight angle to the keys and is not flat and parallel to the keys. But I have an angle there. And now we're going to start with our pinky this time. Same motion, slight closing. C, 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 rest. C, C, C. Now we go to fourth finger on D. D, 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 rest. D, D, D. Now third finger on E. E, 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 rest. E, E, E. Second finger on F. F, 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 rest. F, F, F. Now thumb on G. G, 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 rest. G, G, G. Back down to F. F, 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 rest. F, F, F. Down to E. E, 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 rest. E, E, E. Down to fourth finger on D. D, 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 rest. D, D, D. Now the pinky on C. C, 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 rest. C, C, C. All right, nicely done. So this is a very powerful exercise. I do have a slightly more advanced version of this, but I think this is a great way to introduce you to using your fingers appropriately on the keys. Now, let me remind you the key points once again that are so important to remember. We're closing the fingers, we're not pushing the keys down. Okay, that's number one. We're closing only to the point that the fingertip is perpendicular to the surface of the keys. You do not want to exceed that angle. So you shouldn't end up on your fingernail, right? You should remain on the pad of your finger. Number three, you want to make sure that the thumb, the angle of the thumb, is slightly elevated. I can't show you from that angle too well. So that you can actually play the key by using that closing motion. Notice that my thumb is actually bending at the first knuckle, closest to the tip of my thumb. Okay? And then the final, fourth key point that's so critically important is your fingertips should remain resting on the surface of the keys. You should not raise your fingers between the attacks at all, regardless of whether the finger is playing or not.